Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about the Libra moon. Let's go ahead and get into it. Libra is about harmony and balance and beauty. It's ruled by Venus, so it's a very nice, pleasant sign. Libras tend to be very charming, likable people. But having your moon in Libra, your moon is your emotions, your deepest part of you, and the side of you that really the people closest to you will know and see. It's who you are when you're alone, basically. It's your instinctual responses and the ways in which you can feel nurtured and safe. So, putting this side of you, a very deep emotional side of you, into Libra, it's not the worst place for the moon. But I don't think that it's easy, or as easy as one might think, because Libra is the scales. And Libra is the only sign in astrology that is ruled by an inanimate object. So emotions are feelings. They're very personal, subjective responses. So Libra isn't very much about that. Libra is an air sign. Air signs are intellectual. Air signs are detached, which makes a Libra moon somewhat detached from their emotions. And it's not that they can't feel, it's not that they're not sensitive, because they actually are, more so than people might think. It just makes it so that they're not really about delving deep into those emotions that they feel. And the reason for that is because a Libra moon needs to feel balanced within themselves to feel nurtured and safe. But that's like the biggest challenge of the Libra moon, is maintaining that balance. So Libra moons can sometimes go out of their way to have harmony and balance and peace around them, to the point where they will sometimes have a hard time taking a stand on anything because they don't want to upset or disrupt the balance around them. So Libra moons can end up being the people pleaser of the group. There can be this like feeling of guilt anytime they do take a stand and defend themselves and speak their mind. They can immediately feel guilty, like, wow, I shouldn't have done that, because then they have to think about the other person, and it affects Libra moons more deeply when they think that they hurt someone by speaking their mind. It's almost like neglecting to themselves, because then they always end up feeling like they have to hold back, because they have to maintain an external feeling of harmony and balance. Since the moon represents the mother, growing up you probably had a mom who was kind of unstable within herself. Not always, usually, but I just feel like because Libra is so detached, I don't think that someone who has their moon in Libra had a mom who was very emotionally nurturing. I think it was more of a mom who maybe in herself was more unstable, so that's why the Libra moon person had to take on the responsibility of being that stability for the mother, being that voice of reason that was kind of helping her weigh out her shit to find equilibrium within herself. And that's a lot of responsibility for a kid to take on, you know, or just anyone who is still trying to grow themselves and figure themselves out. That's kind of a lot to take on. But that's the thing with Libra moon, is they take on that responsibility of being like the mediator. I don't know words today for some reason, but they kind of take on that responsibility of being that person for the groups that they're in, their family. So in a way, it kind of taught them to detach from their emotions early on. In a way, they're kind of more sensitive towards other people's feelings and emotions. Like they consider everyone's viewpoint, everyone's side to things. They consider what everyone feels and has to say, and then they save themselves for last, and then they consider what they feel or have to say. I think a lot of times Libra moons can sometimes even struggle with figuring out how they feel, because they are the scales. So if you think of a scale, it's like there's two sides to it. So for it to be balanced, you have to consider both sides and determine what both sides are feeling. So it makes Libra moons really, really indecisive and almost completely unsure of themselves, completely unsure of what their stand is, completely unsure of who they are, and it can make them pretty stressed out and anxious. They don't know which side to be because they feel both sides fully, like they feel them both strongly and completely, so they don't really know how they feel all the time about things. And the reason why they detach is they don't want to go too far deep into these processes of trying to balance out their emotions, because they kind of fear that if they go deep within their emotions, they'll not be able to stabilize themselves through them. It's a fear of kind of losing control in a way, a fear of not having the stability within themselves, because once they go deep in there, they can tend to like really lose themselves. That's when the Libra moon kind of heavily relies on people to kind of bring them back into a state of equilibrium. In those instances, they kind of need others to help them out, to help them, you know, be like an objective outside voice, outside opinion that can kind of see the Libra moon where they're at and can kind of point out things for the Libra moon. It takes someone that the Libra moon really trusts and, you know, they respect their opinion as well. It takes someone who has a similar mental viewpoint like a Libra moon that can kind of be like the voice of reason, just like the Libra moon can be for people. They kind of need other people to be that way for them. That way they can feel more sane and they can feel like, okay, now I have like that foundation with the help of someone else, and now I can kind of figure out, put the pieces together and figure out exactly where I stand with any kind of emotional process or reaction. So if your mother was a more positive influence on you, it could be like a very pleasant, charming mother who taught you, you know, things about relationships a lot, and maybe, you know, watching her with her significant others, whether that was your father or not, and whatever mother or father means to you, you know, whichever parent was the more masculine, feminine parent. But watching her and her interactions, she might have been that person who also considered other people before she considered herself, and she kind of taught you to be like that, to be selfless and to be giving and caring. And she probably taught you all about art and, you know, the finer things of life and beauty. So what does this say about you then? It does actually make you a pretty attractive, charming person. They tend to be pretty popular too amongst like their groups and their social circles. They tend to be kind of that friend for people that can help offer an objective viewpoint to help other people kind of balance themselves as well, because they can see almost like the situation for what it is and see both sides of it and point that out for the people that they care about and help other people through their emotions. Libra moons have a very pure and kind heart, and I think that's the thing that people underestimate the most about Libra moons is their ability to love profoundly with this enormous kindness and gentleness that is very endearing to be around. And since Libra moons have a very evolved awareness of relationships, they're kind of more mature in relationships, I guess I would say. So they believe in the equality between the relationships as well, and they want their partners to be honest with them, to be direct with them. Because when they have partners who can do that for them, they feel like more confidence within themselves to be that way with their partners. And Libra moons want that because they believe that that is what leads to more love and respect within the relationship, because you're able to work out differences rather than letting them build up and building that resentment. Libra moons don't believe that that's what makes relationship work. Libra is an air sign still, so it wants to communicate. It's just a Libra moon can struggle with having that confidence in communicating how they feel. But when they have a partner who gives them that, who's a direct and honest and caring and respectful, they can reciprocate that. So they can be that for their partners as well. But again, it's like Libra moons need like the equal effort, you know, like that's the thing with the relationships. They can't be the only one putting in that effort to maintain that kind of state in a relationship. They need that from their partners, because when they get that back, they're able to reciprocate it even stronger, making the relationship stronger. That's the kind of awareness that Libra moons have in relationships. They don't think it's just one partner doing it. Sometimes Libra moons can get to a point where they're doing more for their partners than the partner's doing for them. That's the thing to watch out for in relationships for Libra moons. But that's not their ideal. They need that reciprocated effort from their partners, because that's how they feel the balance and the equality within the relationships. And that's when a Libra moon thrives, is in the relationships that are balanced in that way. They will be able to be the partner that wants to work on the relationship, wants to put in the effort, wants to work to change, to better the relationship as a whole. And that's a very ideal partner for a lot of people. But again, it takes a person who kind of has the same awareness of relationships to be with a Libra moon. You might tend to make some mistakes in relationships early on in the beginning of your life, because you'll probably be the partner who does all of this yourself and don't really ask for much from the partner. But as you get older and as you learn what you value and what you want in a person, in a partnership, as you get older, you'll realize that this is really important for you. You might feel like this pressure too, like this rush to be in a relationship and to, you know, have someone not like define you, but be known for the partnership that you have. So I would just say try to avoid giving into that pressure, and you know, if it takes time to get what you want, then it takes time. You kind of have this energy about you where you're able to allow people the space to reflect on themselves and their decisions as well. You kind of have this energy of bringing people together as well. Like say you're in like a social circle, friend group, and you have two of them who are like disagreeing. You have the ability to bring them back together, is what I'm trying to say. Like you have that ability to be the outside perspective that can bring people, things, perspectives, ideas together. You bring everything together and you balance it all out. You provide stability for people, support for other people, reassurance for other people. You just have to remember to give that to yourself as well, and to not be afraid to ask for what you need when you need it, because your desires and what you need are 100% valid and okay. So hopefully you like this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.